Hello, young scholars, my warriors of democracy, defenders of the republic. This is Mr. Martyrin here, and I am giving you just some tips and pointers on how to stay active and engaged before we actually start our AP Government and Politics class. One of the first things I would recommend is staying on top of the news. Two interesting podcasts that I'm going to recommend is NPR's Up First and New York Times' The Daily. NPR's Up First is a great way, 15 minutes in the morning you can listen to it. It's hosted by Steve Inskeep, David Green, and Rachel Martin. They're great journalists. They give you kind of an overview of the major news stories for the day, while the New York Times Daily goes a little bit deeper into some of the topics. The next podcast I'm going to recommend is the NPR Politics Podcast. This is what I turn to first to get my political news. It's about 10 to 15 minutes each day, hosted by a great team of journalists that break down the day's political, national, and international events and their ramifications. This is a great, easy listen to, and if you're keeping up with current events and you're keeping up with things in class, you should be able to understand what it is the NPR Politics team is discussing. If you're into a little bit more progressive politics or democratic politics, I'm going to recommend Pod Save America. Pod Save America is hosted by Jon Favreau, Jon Lovett, Tommy Vietor, and Dan Pfeiffer, who were on President Obama's communications team. I believe on Mondays and Thursdays they drop different episodes of their podcast and offer their spin on current events and politics. And on the more academic side of the podcast, we have the Government Gurus and we have 60 Second Civics. The Government Gurus is hosted by a series of AP government teachers like Mr. Martyrin, and they have different episodes on different governmental topics. It's a great way to listen and keep up on things and topics that might be on your exam. 67 Civics is just that. They do a podcast, 60 seconds, on different topics of government and politics. It's a great way to stay abreast of issues, and also it's a great way to review for your AP exam. Another easy way for you to stay engaged in government and politics is to follow elected leaders and public officials running for office on social media, regardless of what that social media platform may be. And it's important that you follow candidates and elected leaders on both political spectrums, because you want to be able to see what everyone is saying about a particular topic or current event. This will help broaden your perspective as we head into our class in the fall and we start to shape our political thinking and examine current events as a political scientist would. So those are all ways for you to stay engaged in government and politics. But I want to talk to you about how you can get involved in government and politics. And one of the easiest ways is to host a voter registration drive through organizations like When We All Vote. In our AP Government and Politics class, we will be doing that at some point this year. We'll be rallying your classmates, people who have never voted for the first time. We're going to be registering them to vote so that they have a chance to have a say in government this November. Because in the state of New Jersey, every November is an election year, regardless whether it's a presidential, gubernatorial, congressional, or a statewide or local race. Having your voice heard is one of the greatest things you can do in our democracy, and it's going to be one of the skills I look forward to teaching you about. I look forward to a great year.